Good morning, and thank you for joining us here today. I'm Kate Fenske, Chair of the International Downtown Association Canada, and I stand alongside my colleagues from across the country, leaders who represent hundreds of business improvement associations and more than 250,000 businesses that drive the economy of Canada's downtowns. Our message today is clear. Canada's downtowns matter. They're where our economy, our culture, and our communities meet. Together, they generate over 75% of Canada's GDP and define the character of our cities. When our downtowns are strong, so is our country. But we cannot ignore the reality on the ground. Many of our members are seeing the same pattern: rising crime, visible homelessness, and a growing mental health and addiction crisis that affects safety, confidence, and livability. Local businesses face vandalism, extortion, and theft. Workers and visitors don't always feel safe in the places that once brought people together. These challenges demand federal leadership and coordination. IDA Canada is calling on the Government of Canada to take a multi-partisan approach to public safety legislation, one that directly involves the downtown business community. Reforms such as bail legislation must be shaped by those living with the consequences on the ground. Public safety is an economic policy. Without safe streets, investment slows, confidence fails, and resiliency becomes tested. Every day that we delay action, we risk losing the social and economic engines that power this country. At the same time, safety cannot be separated from compassion. The mental health and addictions crisis is a humanitarian challenge unfolding in our city centers before our eyes. We need a national action plan, one that ties federal funding to measurable outcomes, supports community-based care, and ensures collaboration across governments, provinces, and municipalities. IDA Canada believes in one economy, a Canadian economy that recognizes downtowns not as problems to fix, but as opportunities to grow. Each step we take to strengthen them strengthens Canada as a whole. Our downtowns are more than just streets and storefronts or where your favorite sports team plays. They are places where people meet, create, and belong. The choices we make today will decide what kind of communities we inherit tomorrow. So let's work together across party lines, across jurisdictions, and across this country to ensure every Canadian downtown is safe, vibrant, and resilient. I would now like to turn it over to my colleague Tasha Morizio, IDA Canada's Quebec delegate.
Merci, Kate. Bonjour, Tasha Morizio, déléguée du Québec pour l'International Downtown Association Canada. Je suis en tournée aujourd'hui des collègues venus partout au pays. Des leaders qui représentent des centaines de sociétés de développement commercial, ainsi que plus de 250 000 entreprises qui font battre le corps économique des centres-villes et artères commerciales du Canada. Notre message est simple et clair. Les centres-villes et les artères commerciales du Canada comptent. Ce sont des lieux où se racontent notre économie, notre culture et nos communautés. Ensemble, ils génèrent plus de 75% du PIB canadien et définissent le caractère de nos villes. Lorsque nos centres-villes sont forts, notre pays l'est aussi. Mais nous ne pouvons pas ignorer la réalité sur le terrain. Partout au pays, nos membres observent les mêmes tendances. Hausse de la criminalité, une présence accrue de l'itinérance et une crise grandissante de la santé mentale et de dépendance qui affectent la sécurité, la confiance et la qualité de vie de nos communautés. Les entreprises locales font face à du vandalisme, à de l'extorsion et à des vols répétés. Les travailleurs et les visiteurs ne sont plus en sécurité dans ces lieux que autrefois rassemblaient les gens. IDA Canada demande au gouvernement fédéral d'adopter une approche concertée en matière de sécurité publique, une approche qui implique directement la communauté d'affaires des centres-villes. Les réformes, notamment celles sur la mise en liberté sous caution, doivent être construites avec celles et ceux qui en subissent les conséquences au quotidien. Parce que la sécurité publique est une politique économique. Sans rue sécuritaire, les investissements ralentissent, la confiance s'effrite et la résilience de nos collectivités est fragilisée. Chaque jour où l'action se fait attendre, on risque de perdre les moteurs sociaux et économiques qui font avancer ce pays. En même temps, la sécurité ne peut être dissociée de la compassion. La crise de la santé mentale et de dépendance est avant tout un défi humanitaire qui se déroule au cœur même de nos villes. Nous avons besoin d'un plan d'action national qui lie les fonds fédéraux à des résultats mesurables, soutient les soins communautaires et favorise la collaboration entre les gouvernements fédéraux, provinciaux et municipaux. IDEA Canada croit en une seule économie canadienne. Une économie qui mise sur les centres-villes, non pas des problèmes à régler, mais des occasions à saisir. Chaque mesure que nous prenons pour les renforcer renforce le Canada tout entier. Nos centres-villes et artères commerciales sont bien plus que des rues et des vitrines. Ce sont des lieux de rencontre, de création et d'appartenance. Le choix que nous faisons aujourd'hui détermineront la communauté que nous laisserons aux générations de demain. Travaillons ensemble, au-delà des partis, des juridictions et des régions, pour que chaque centre-ville soit sécuritaire, dynamique et résilient. Merci de votre attention.
Merci. Thank you. Nous n'avons pas de questions pour le moment. We don't have any questions at the moment. Is there something you would like to add to your statement?
I think, you know, when we were here last year doing this very same thing, having these meetings with our elected officials, a lot has changed in the last year, obviously. And for downtowns, there are many businesses that are still struggling. Foot traffic has not returned to pre-pandemic levels. And when we look at what are the things that need to happen moving forward, I think the main thing is that we really understand is that it's not one thing that is going to fix the challenges that we're seeing. What's really critical is that all levels of government are working together with the private sector, the public sector, and that we are treating this as a national issue, not one that needs to be solved, but like I said, in terms of seeing the opportunity that our downtowns present, there's where culture, arts, business, sports all come together in our downtowns. It is really the fabric of Canada. And so we're really looking forward to our meetings here today. I know we've got several MPs and staffers as well that we're meeting with on the Hill to have these discussions about how can the federal government work with business associations from across Canada, but also other levels of government, and exploring what some of those solutions are. Thank you.
From a colleague at Army and City News, how much federal funding would be needed, and what more can municipal and provincial governments do?
We haven't determined exactly what a number would be. I think what's really critical is to start bringing folks together first, especially when we're looking at the national plan, both on public safety and to address mental health, addictions, and homelessness. We often, you know, hear different governments say that's not our jurisdiction, or that's really the provinces or the cities or the feds. And we think it's really critical that all levels of government are coming together for that. When it does come to funding, though, and specifically around the mental health and addictions crisis, it really is critical, we believe, that the federal government look at its benchmarks and revisit those that are tied to federal funding and what those measurable outcomes are looking at.
Do you have any specifics on how it might help Vancouver, Calgary, or Edmonton?
I can pass it over to my Vancouver colleague, actually, to speak to that.
Well, thank you very much. Well, it's a national plan that we need, and of course that will drill down to certain cities in particular, and it'll be far-reaching in terms of what the potential benefits could be. So, like many cities, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton do have problems with safety and crime, and that affects business throughout, in urban areas as well as rural. So any advances in this regard are going to have absolute direct benefits. And it's always good to keep in mind that 75% of Canada's GDP comes from urban areas. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes the press conference. Merci. C'est ce qui conclut cette conférence de presse.